Hello viewers, today in our botany online classroom we are going to discuss about one of the most important topics, Bentham and Hooker's classification. It is covered under taxonomy of BSc Life Sciences paper 2. Classification is the arrangement of the plants based on the specific features. So it denotes the arrangement of a single plant or group of plants uh, as a distinct category following a system of nomenclature, and it is also in accordance with a particular and well established plan. So there are different classifications, particularly the most primitive classification is earlier classification is artificial system of classification, and next natural system of classification was proposed, and later several advanced system of classifications were proposed. They are called as phylogenetic system of classifications. Now APG classifications are also proposed: APG1, APG2, APG3, APG4. It is also called angiosperm phylogeny group classification. So now we come to artificial system of classification. It is the earliest system of classification. It is proposed by Linnaeus, and Linnaeus system of classification is also called as sexual classification because it depends on the reproductive organs, number of reproductive organs, like number of stamens, number of carpels. So only this system is based on one or two features of the plant, so it is called as artificial system of classification. And next, with more and more detailed study on the morphological, physiological and reproductive aspects of angiosperms are established, the artificial systems of classifications were replaced by the natural system of the classification. So natural system of classification is based on the several features, like several morphological features like vegetative features and reproductive features, physiological features. So there are several natural systems of the classification. The earliest ones are De Candolle's system of classification and De Jessu's system of classification, Lindley's system of the classification. Later, based on these classifications, Bentham and Hooker proposed the classification. It has become more popular, and particularly this Bentham and Hooker's system of classification was widely accepted in Britain and Commonwealth countries. Bentham and Hooker, George Bentham and Joseph Dalton Hooker, these two are British taxonomists who were closely associated with the Royal Botanical Gardens at Kew, England. So it is one of the most accepted natural system of classifications of phanerogams. So they published Genera Plantarum in 3 volumes. Here they described and classified about 97,205 species of the flowering plants spread over 200 families and 7,569 genera. So they consider the families as the natural orders. So in this system, much stress was given to the number of cotyledons in distinguishing between the dicotyledons and monocotyledons. The dicotyledons were subdivided into 3 subclasses again. So, and classes are again divided into series, and series are again divided into orders. So they finally divided into families or natural orders. So as we discussed earlier, this system is based on the classification of A.P. de Candolle, Lindley and De Jesus classification. So this is the Genera Plantarum published by the George Bentham and J.D. Hooker. And they classified only flowering plants. Plants in the plant kingdom, plants are mainly divided into non-flowering plants, or they are also called as cryptogams, and the flowering plants are called as phanerogams. And Bentham and Hooker classified only flowering plants. They are also called as phanerogams. And they again divided the flowering plants into three classes: class 1 dicotyledons, class 2 gymnosperms, class 3 monocotyledons. They kept the gymnosperms between the dicotyledons and monocotyledons. So the main differences between the gymnosperms and angiosperms. So angiosperms include both the monocots and dicots. So what are the specific differences between the gymnosperms and angiosperms? Now we see. The reproductive structures in the gymnosperms are called as cones, but the reproductive structures in the angiosperms are well developed flowers. And in case of the gymnosperms, we observe the naked seeds, but in case of the angiosperms, seeds are covered by the pericarp. That means fruit is formed. But in case of the gymnosperms, there is no fruit formation. So we call them as the naked seeds. And in gymnosperms, we observe the direct pollination. That means here in gymnosperms, ovules are arranged directly on the axis. So they are exposed for the pollination by the pollen. So that is called as direct pollination, because pollen, it falls on the micropyle of the ovule directly. So this is called as direct pollination. But in case of the angiosperms, in contrast to the gymnosperms where there is no ovary, the ovules are not surrounded by the ovary wall in gymnosperms, but in angiosperms, ovules are covered by the ovary wall. And the female reproductive structure is called as gynoecium in angiosperms. In case of the gymnosperms, archegonia are present in the ovules. But in the angiosperms, archegonia are absent in the ovule. In place of the archegonia, female gametophytes are present in the female gametophyte, or it is also called as embryo sac, is present in the ovules of the angiosperms. So in the structure, in the female reproductive structure, that is also called as gynoecium, we observe the stigma at the top, and below stigma we observe the style, and below the style we observe the ovary. It consists of the ovules. So the pollen grains, they fall on the stigma. They can't directly fall on the ovules as like in case of the gymnosperms. In angiosperms, pollen grains, as they fall on the stigma, it is called as indirect pollination. And in gymnosperms, we usually find the wind pollination, as the pollen released spontaneously as a cloud in the wind. So they go by the wind direction and they reach the ovules for the direct pollination. So this is called as wind pollination or anemophily. And but mostly in the angiosperms, what we observe, there is a flower formation. Flowers are usually with attractive colors, and they also consist of the nectar as a food for the insects. And also in some of the Orchidaceae family members, we also observe the flowers mimic the female insects. So insects are attracted by the several features, and usually insect pollination, it is also called as entomophily, takes place in angiosperms. So in gymnosperms, one more feature is the syngamy. That means the fusion between the male gamete and the egg cell is called as syngamy or fertilization. There is only one fertilization, that is called as syngamy in gymnosperms, in contrast to angiosperms. In angiosperms, through the pollen tube, two male gametes enter into the ovule of the ovary. So when the two male gametes enter into the ovule, first one fuses with the egg cell, that is called as first fertilization or syngamy. And the second fertilization also takes place between the second male gamete and the two polar nuclei, that is called as triple fusion, and also double fertilization, because there are two fertilizations in the angiosperms. The first fertilization between the first male gamete and the egg cell, and the second fertilization or the double fertilization takes place between the second male gamete and the two polar nuclei. So that is called as triple fusion. In the gymnosperms, haploid endosperm is observed, and it is one of the most important features, and it is formed before the fertilization. But in case of the angiosperms, endosperm is triploid and it is formed after fertilization. As we discussed earlier, the double fertilization or the triple fusion takes place between the second male gamete and the central cell or the two polar nuclei, and it forms the primary endosperm nucleus. It is triploid, and it forms after several divisions, it forms the triploid endosperms, and it is formed after fertilization. So that is these are the major differences between the gymnosperms and angiosperms. Now we see, as we discussed earlier, both the dicotyledons and monocotyledons are called as angiosperms. So now what are the differences between the monocots and dicotyledons? Now we see. Monocots, as the name mentions, contain a single cotyledon in the seeds. But in case of the dicots, as the name indicates, there are two cotyledons in the seed. So they are called as dicots. So monocot means single cotyledon. Dicot means two cotyledons. And in case of the dicots, we observe the taproot system, one of the most important identification features of the dicots. And in monocots, we observe the adventitious root system or the fibrous root system. And in the stems, we observe the vascular bundles. In dicots, vascular bundles are arranged in ring form, also called as eustele. In case of the monocots, vascular bundles are scattered all over the stem. In the anatomy, we observe the scattered vascular bundles, also called atactostele. And in monocots, we observe the parallel venation. Veins are arranged parallelly on the leaves. It is called parallel venation, most important features of the monocots. And in dicots, what we observe, the net-like veins, also called as reticulate venation. That is one of the most important features of the dicots. And in the dicots we observe the tetramerous or pentamerous condition. That means we find usually 4 sepals or 5 sepals, 4 petals or 5 petals. So and also stamens may be 5 or multiple of 5, like 5 or 10 stamens. So it is called as tetramerous condition or pentamerous condition. But in monocots usually we observe the trimerous condition. That means the floral pods are multiples of 3. They might be 3 or 6. Here we find the tepals which are 3 or 6. So these are the major differences between dicots and monocots. And now we see the Bentham-Mandukar system of classification. As we discussed earlier, they classified only phanerogamy or flowering plants. So they did not touch the non-flowering plants. They classified the flowering plants only. They divide the flowering plants phanerogamy into 3 classes. The first one is called dicotyledone, second one is gymnospermae, third one monocotyledone. And again dicotyledone class is divided into 3 subclasses. The first one polypetalae, second one is gamopetalae, third one is monoclamidae. So polypetalae, it is the subclasses are divided on the basis of the petal condition or the perianth condition. What is perianth? Both the calyx and corolla commonly called as perianth. So in polypetalae and gamopetalae, one of the common feature is the bichlamydous condition. That means we find the perianth in 2 whorls. So it is called as bichlamydous condition. Both have bichlamydous condition, but that means perianth is differentiated into calyx and corolla. The outermost whorl is called as calyx, which is usually green in color, and the next whorl is called as corolla. Usually it is in attractive colors. So here in polypetalae, the important feature is petals are free. That means polypetalous condition is observed. It is called, so all of them which show the polypetalous condition are included under polypetalae. So now in gamopetalae, what we observe, the gamopetalous condition. What is gamopetalous condition? Petals are fused. That is called as gamopetalous condition. So the plants which show the gamopetalous flowers are included under gamopetalae subclass. And in monoclamidae, the important identification feature is perianth is in a single whorl. We observe the monoclamideous condition. Monoclamideous means single perianth. Perianth in a single whorl. It is called as, it is denoted by monoclamidae. And polypetalae is again divided into Thalamiflorae, 3 series, Thalamiflorae, Disciflorae, Calyciflorae. Thalamiflorae is again divided into 6 orders, 34 families. Disciflorae is again divided into 4 orders and 22 families. And Calyciflorae is again divided into 5 orders and 27 families. So the basis for the separation of the plants into 3 series is based on the ovary position with reference to the floral parts. So hypogynous condition, hypogynous flowers are observed in the Thalamiflorae. All the dicotyledonous plants under polypetalae which show the hypogynous condition are included under thalamiflorae, and the plants which show the disc under the ovary are arranged under disciflorae, and the flowering plants, the polypetalous plants which show the perigynous condition or epigynous condition are included under calciflorae. Now we come to gamopetalae. Under this gamopetalae is divided into three series, that is inferae, heteromerae, and third one is bicarpellate. As the name indicates, these plants, inferae series indicates the presence of the inferior ovary. The plants, the gamopetalous plants which show the inferior ovary are included under the series inferae. And the gamopetalous plants which show two carpels with the superior ovary are included under the series heteromerae. And the gamopetalous plants which show two carpels with the superior ovary are included under the series bicarpellate. So now inferae consists of 3 orders and 9 families. Heteromerae consists of 3 orders and 12 families, and under the bicarpellate series 4 orders and 23 families are included. So after polypetalae and gamopetalae subclasses, now we come to monoclamidae. What is monoclamidae? As we discussed earlier, it consists of the single whorl of perianth, and it is divided into series Curvembriae with 6 families, multi-ovulate aquaticae, multi-ovulate terrestris, microembryae, Daphnialis, Achlamydospore, Unisexualis, Ordina Anomaly. So these are the 8 series included under the monoclamidae. And here one of the prominent feature is series are directly divided into families. Here in monoclamidae there are no orders. There are no orders in the monoclamidae. Directly Curvembriae is divided into 6 families without orders. So this is all about dicotyledonous classification. Now we come to Gymnospermae. Gymnospermae means, as we discussed earlier, it consists of the naked seeds without enclosed by the pericarp. So there is no fruit formation. So gymnosperms include 3 families, that is Neetaceae, Coniferae and Cycadaceae. And now we come to the third class, Monocotyledonea. It consists of a single cotyledon in the seed. It is divided into 7 series. Microspermae, it consists of 3 families without orders. As just like in case of the monoclamidae, here also monocotyledonous flowering plants are divided into series and directly they are divided into families. There are no orders. And microspermae is directly divided into 3 families. Since the seeds are very small in size, they are named as microspermae. And next, epigynae. It consists of 7 families. Coronariae consists of 8 families. Calycinae series consists of 5 families. Nudiflorae consists of 5 families. Apocarpae it is divided into 3 families. Blumaceae, it consists of 5 families. So this is the brief classification of the Bentham and Hooker classification. This is a brief description of the Bentham and Hooker's classification. So now we see the subclass level classification of Polypetalae. So as we discussed earlier, dicots are divided into, dicots class is divided into 3 subclasses: Polypetalae, Gamopetalae and Monoclamidae. In the Polypetalae, the prominent feature is petals are separate, free petals, that is called polypetalous condition. So this Polypetalae subclass is divided into 3 series: Thalamiflorae, Disciflorae and Calciflorae. Thalamiflorae is again divided into orders: Ranalis, Parietallis, Polygallinae, Caryophyllinae, Gattiferalis, Malvalis. And Disciflorae series is divided into Geranialis, Olacales, Celastralis, Sapindalis orders. And Calciflorae series is divided into the orders Rosalis, Myrtalis, Passifloralis, Phycoidalis, Umbellalis. And now we come to Thalamiflorae. Under the Polypetalae, the first series is Thalamiflorae. It is again divided into the 6 orders. Ranalis, it consists of the families Ranunculaceae, Dilleniaceae, Calicanthaceae, Magnoliaceae, Anonaceae, Menispermaceae, Berberidaceae, Nymphaceae. And Parietallis order is divided into Serraciniaceae, Papaveraceae, Cruciferae, Capparaceae, Residaceae, Cistaceae, Violaceae, Canalaceae, Bixaceae. And Polygallinaceae is divided into 3 families: Pittosporaceae, Tremendraceae, Polygallaceae. And Caryophyllinae order is divided into 4 families, that is Frankiniaceae, Caryophyllaceae, Portulacaceae, Tamaricaceae. And Gattiferalis order is divided into the families Elatinaceae, Hypericaceae, Gattiferae, Thiaceae, Dipterocarpaceae, Sarcolanaceae. And Malvaceae orders, this order is divided into 3 families: Malvaceae, Sterculiaceae and Teliaceae. Now we come to next one is Disciflorae series, and it consists of the hypogynous flowers with a cushion-like disc around or below the ovary. That is the identification feature of the Disciflorae. It is divided into 4 orders: Geranialis, it consists of the families Linaceae, Humeriaceae, Malpighiaceae, Zygophyllaceae, Geraniaceae, Rutaceae, Cymarobaceae, Acnaceae, Burseraceae, Meliaceae, Decapetalaceae. And next order is Olacalis. It consists of 2 families: Olacaceae, Aquifoliaceae. And the next order, Celastralis, is divided into 4 families: Celastraceae, Stachycaceae, Rhamnaceae, Vitaceae. Sapindalis order is divided into 5 orders, 5 families: Sapindaceae, Meliosmaceae, Anacardiaceae, Coriariaceae, Moringaceae. So the third order, the third series is Calciflorae. So it shows the flowers which are epigynous or perigynous, and thalamus is in the form of a cup. That is the feature of the identification feature of the Calciflorae. We find either the epigynous flowers or perigynous flowers with the cup-like thalamus. And it is divided into 5 orders: Rosalis, Myrtalis, Passifloralis, Phycoidalis, Umbellalis. And Rosalis is divided into families Cornaraceae, Leguminosae, Rosaceae, Saxifragaceae, Crassulaceae, Droseraceae, Hemamelidaceae, Brunniaceae, and Haloragaceae. And Mytalis order is divided into families, 6 families: Rhizophoraceae, Combretaceae, Myrtaceae, Melastomataceae, Lythraceae, Onagraceae. And Passifloralis order is divided into families: Losaceae, Turneraceae, Passifloraceae, Cucurbitaceae, Begoniaceae, Datiscaceae. And Phycoideales is divided into 2 families, that is Cactaceae, Iageaceae. And Umbellales order is divided into 3 families, they are Umbelliferae, Araliaceae and Cornaceae. And now we come to next subclass, that is Gamopetalae. Under the Dicotyledonnae, the second subclass is Gamopetalae. The prominent feature is petals are fused. So it is divided into 3 series: Inferae, Heteromerae, Bicarpellate. So Inferae is divided into 3 orders: Rubialis, Astralis and Campanularis. And Heteromerae series is divided into 3 orders: Ericalis, Primulalis, Ebenalis. And Bicarpellate is divided into 4 orders: Gentianalis, Polymonialis and Personialis and Lamialis. And Inferae series of the Gamopetalae subclass shows the flowers with the inferior ovary. Inferae shows the inferior ovary. It is divided into 3 orders. Rubialis, it consists of the Caprifoliaceae and Rubiaceae families, and Astralis order is divided into 4 families: Valerianaceae, Dispacaceae, Caliceraceae, and finally one of the most advanced families, Compositae. And Campanularis is divided into 3 families: Stylidaceae, Goodeniaceae and Campanulaceae. And now the second series of the Gamopetalae, Heteromerae, it shows the flowers with the superior ovary and more than 2 carpels. And this Heteromerae is divided into Ericalis, Primulalis and Ebenalis orders. And Ericalis consists of the 5 families: Ericaceae, Clythraceae, Epacridaceae, Diapensiaceae, Linosae. And Primulalis divided into 3 families: Plumbaginaceae, Primulaceae and Myrcinaceae. Ebenalis order is divided into 3 families: Sapotaceae, Ebenaceae and Styracaceae. And the third series is Bicarpellate. It consists of superior ovary with 2 carpels. It is divided into 4 orders. Gentianalis, it consists of the families Oleaceae, Salvadoraceae, Apocynaceae, Asclepiadaceae, Loganiaceae and Gentianaceae. And Polymonialis order is divided into 5 families: Polymoniaceae, Hydrophyllaceae, Boraginaceae, Convolvulaceae, Solanaceae. And Personialis order is divided into Scrapulariaceae, Globulariaceae, Lentibulariaceae, Gesneriaceae, Bignoniaceae, Pedaliaceae and Acanthaceae families. Lamialis order is divided into 4 families: Myoporaceae, Verbenaceae, Labiatae and Plantaginaceae. Now we come to the third class, third subclass under dicots, that is Monoclamidae. As the name indicates, it consists of a single perianth oral. So it is divided directly into series, and series are directly divided into families without orders. So the first one is Curvembriae. It consists of the 6 families: Nyctaginaceae, Amaranthaceae, Chenopodiaceae, Batidaceae, Polygonaceae and Phytolaccaceae. And later it is also covered under Centrospermae. And multi-ovulate Aquaticae. series is divided into a single family, that is Podostamaceae. And the next one is multi-ovulate terrestris. So the aquatic plants are covered under multi-ovulate aquaticae and the terrestrial plants are covered under multi-ovulate terrestris. These are divided into three families: Nepenthaceae, Cyaneaceae, Myristicaceae. And the next series is Microembryae. So it consists of four families: Piperaceae, Chloranthaceae, Myristicaceae and Monimiaceae. And Daphnalis series is divided into Laraceae family, Proteaceae family, Thiamelaceae family, Venaceae family, Elagnaceae family. And next series A. chlamydospore divided into three families: Loranthaceae, Santalaceae and Balanophoraceae. And next series Unisexualis is divided into Euphorbiaceae, Balanopaceae and Utricaceae, Plantanaceae, Lightneriaceae, Juglandaceae, Mericaceae, Casuarinaceae, Betulaceae. And Ordain's anomaly consists of the families Salicaceae, Empetrosae, Ceratophyllaceae and Laccisternaceae. And now we come to the third class of the classification, that is monocotyledon consists of the single cotyledon and flowers are trimerous. So the floral parts are multiple of 3, that is called as trimerous. And here it is also divided into 7 series and they are directly divided into, without orders, they are directly divided into families. So microspermae, it consists of the small seeds and divided into 3 families: Hydrocaritaceae, Burmaniaceae, Orchidaceae families. And Epigyne series is divided into 7 families: Cytaminae, Bromeliaceae, Hemodoraceae, Iridaceae, Amaryllidaceae, Tachycaceae, Dioscoraceae. And Coronariae series is divided into Roxburghiaceae, Liliaceae, Pentaderiaceae, Philitraceae, Zyridaceae, Mayacaceae, Commelinaceae, Rapataceae families. And Calicinae is divided into Flagellariaceae, Juncaceae, Palmae families. And Nudiflorae is divided into Pandanaceae, Cyclanthaceae, Typhaceae, Araceae, Lemnaceae families. And Apocarpae series is divided into 3 families, that is Triuridaceae, Alismataceae, Najadaceae families. And Glumaceae series is again divided into families Ericolaceae, Centrolepidaceae, Restinaceae, Cyperaceae. Finally, the most advanced families, one of the most advanced families, Graminae. It is now named as Poaceae family. And now we come to the merits of the Bentham and Hooker's classification. So the descriptions of the taxa in the classification are based on actual study, thus making the system detailed, authentic and highly practical. So it is very practical classification, very detailed classification and authentic classification. So it is continued to be followed in several countries including India. And the keys for the identification of genera and families are very precise and useful. So for the identification, it is very easy. So they formed very useful keys for the identification. It includes geographical distribution of genera and species. So they also indicated the geographical location of the plants. They mentioned the geographical location of the genera and species. And dicots start with the one of the most primitive series, that is Ranalis, which is considered as the most primitive. amongst the angiosperms. And also the gymnosperms are placed as a separate independent group and not along with dicots as had been done by De Candolle. So De Candolle is the predecessor of Bentham and Hooker. He proposed the classification before the Bentham and Hooker classification. So based on the De Candolle classification, they improvised the De Candolle's classification. So they, unlike De Candolle, who clubbed both the gymnosperms and dicots, De Candolle separated the primitive gymnosperms from the dicots. And in the as per Bentham and Hooker classification, monocots are placed after dicots, which is accepted by present day taxonomists. And the position of gamopetalae after polypetalae is accepted as fused petals are considered as an advanced character over free petals. So, polypetalae is based on the free petals, and gamopetalae is based on the fused petals. So which is the advanced feature? As per the present study, the polypetalous condition is primitive and gamopetalous condition is advanced. So so it is coincide with the present findings that polypetalae is kept before the advanced gamopetalous condition. So which is agreed by the present taxonomists. And the sequence adapted in the classification suggests an evolutionary pattern. Even though the Bentham and Hooker classification is considered as the natural system of classification, it shows all the several evolutionary features. The families, the orders, series, subclasses, classes are kept in coincidence with the evolutionary order. Even though it is published at the time of the Darwin's evolutionary theory, it is considered as the natural system of the classification, even though they followed several orders based on the evolutionary pattern. And what are the demerits of the Bentham and Hooker system of classification? Now we see the classification does not include any information of the origin, and the position of the gymnosperms between the dicots and monocots is inappropriate. So the one of the most prominent demerits of Bentham and Hooker's classification is they kept the most primitive gymnosperms after dicots, and they kept between the dicots and monocots. So that is inappropriate. And the gymnosperms constitute an independent group considered as equivalent to the angiosperms and are placed before them in most of the classification. So this is one of the more demerits of the Bentham and Hooker's classification. And the grouping of Monoclamidae is artificial as it is based on single character and has separated some closely related families. So for the classification of Monoclamidae, they considered only a single character, that is the perianth in a single oral, but it is inappropriate as per the present study. In the present taxonomists, they separated the several Monoclamidae series. And Chenopodiaceae, it is angiosperms included under angiosperms, even though when it was published after Darwin theory of evolutionary. It is placed in Monoclamidae or related to Caryophyllaceae, placed in Polypetalae and placed in same order by modern taxonomy. So placing Chenopodiaceae under Monoclamidae is inappropriate. That is one of the demerits. And Podostemaceae, it belonging to monoovulate aquaticae under Monoclamidae is regarded closely related to Saxifragaceae or Crassulaceae of Rosalis in the Polypetalae. So even though the Podostomacea resembles the Saxifragaceae, Crassulaceae families under Polypetalae. They kept them under monoovulate aquaticae of Monoclamidae. It is considered inappropriate. And Laraceae, as per the Bentham-Hooker classification belonging to Daphnaelis under Monoclamidae, is considered more related to Magnoliaceae of Ranaelis series belonging to Polypetalae. So Laraceae, again this is also considered inappropriate, even though it resembles the Magnoliaceae of Ranaelis belonging to Polypetalae of dicots. It is kept under the Monoclamidae subclass instead of Polypetalae, and that is inappropriate. And Nepenthaceae belonging to multi-ovulate terrestris under Monoclamidae is related to Saracinaceae. It is placed in Paratalis of Polypetalae. So it is also considered inappropriate. And advanced families like Orchidaceae with inferior ovary and zygomorphic flowers has been considered primitive by the Bentham and Hooker classification, as they kept the Orchidaceae family in the beginning of monocots. So usually at the beginning primitive family should be kept, but here they kept the Orchidaceae, one of the most advanced families like Poaceae, is kept at the beginning of the monocots. It is considered totally inappropriate by the present taxonomists, because as per the evolutionary order, the presence of the inferior ovary is considered as an advanced character. It is kept at the beginning is inappropriate, and it also shows zygomorphic flowers in comparison to the symmetric flowers. Zygomorphic flowers are advanced, even though they show the inferior ovary and zygomorphic symmetry. Orchidaceae is kept at the beginning. And also finally the arrangement of the monocots is unnatural and unphylogenetic. And Compositae or Asteraceae has been placed in the beginning of the Gamopetalae, which is unnatural. So Asteraceae is considered one of the most advanced families under dicots, even though it shows the advanced features. It is kept at the beginning of the Gamopetalae, which is unnatural. And also in the monocots, the families Liliaceae is placed in Coronariae as in Bentham and Hooker's classification, and Amaryllidaceae it is placed in Epigynae. These two are closely related, but these two families Liliaceae, Amaryllidaceae are kept, they are separated and they are kept under different series, Coronaria and Epigynae. So it is considered more inappropriate. So they are separated only on the basis of the ovary characters, and even though they show several similarities, only based on the single character, ovary character, they are separated. That is inappropriate. It is not followed by the present taxonomist. So the position of series Inferae with inferior ovary before the series Heteromerae and Bicarpellate with superior ovaries is not accepted, as the inferior ovary is derived from the superior ovary. So presence of the inferior ovary is considered most advanced compared to the superior ovary. So the inferior series with the inferior ovary should be kept after Heteromerae and Bicarpellate. So that is also one of the demerits. So thank you.